dive right in. So as you all see the title, I know you all want to always say something about me misspelling titles. Part of that is on purpose. Part of that is me lazy because quite frankly, misspelled titles means people aren't gonna find my shit that I don't want to find my shit, which sounds counterproductive, but there is a method to the madness. So yes, I like I said before, I hear you all, and I won't always do that. I'm actually probably gonna revamp my channel a little bit again because I've kind of gone into some of the same habits to get it to build. Um, so yeah, there's enough of that. Anyway, so shout out to Bernard Riley. I was on Bernard Riley's panel kind of towards the end, and he made his video private. I hope he lets me get unlisted link. You know, one thing that's good is make it unlisted, and then you can still give links to people that you want to, because it's definitely some clips that I want to get. And let me be very clear here. I don't take this shit personal. You know, motherfuckers love to call people names and shit. I don't take it that seriously, and that doesn't mean this is not serious topic subject matter. But the reality is, there is a difference between being emotional and being passionate. I know because I walk that line very well. When you are passionate, I'm not talking about Bernard, but I'm talking about dude who's on there. And this dude, and you know who you are. I have no problem debating you on this gynocracy topic, because this is the problem. Black men's failure to understand and recognize this as a problem. And it's funny. As far as I'm concerned, and I'm gonna just say it like this: if you all don't understand this, then I don't know why the fuck y'all are let's take Mr. Fantastic for example. Niggas would lose their mind over some of the stuff that Fantastic says. And do I agree with everything he says? No. And I point out the disagreements that I have with him. I have very clear disagreements on some things, but we agree on more than we did the stuff that, in my opinion, it counts, that actually moves the stuff forward. We actually do agree on. And my thing is, it's funny how black, and I said this before and I'm gonna say this again. It's funny how black men will literally lose their shit over some of the shit Fantastic says. And to be fair, you know, you got Brandon Tatum. Fantastic ain't saying nothing that Brandon Tatum ain't said, that fucking ABL hasn't said. And I always find it funny that some of the people in here, they forget that what the manosphere was like back in the hangout days. And some people, they just weren't here, which I understand that. But I really need to be quick about what I'm talking about. But long story short, but the thing about it is, the biggest reason why people lose their mind is because people have this thing about white supremacy that black men get real emotional about. And white supremacy is really not designed to handle you as an individual. It's really designed to handle you as it's designed to deal with you as a group. And this is what a lot of black men don't understand. So when black men like to use white supremacy as kind of a method, and I'm talking about millennials particularly, millennials and down. That's who I'm talking about. I'm not speaking necessarily for Xers, because that's they went through different shit than what millennials went through. So I want to be very clear on what I'm talking about. But um um people, they don't understand what the line is of using white supremacy as an excuse, and where it's one thing to be aware of it. It's another thing to try to use this as this like backdoor example. I'm not saying that's what was done, but a lot of black men are not sophisticated enough to really even bring up white supremacy when it comes to that, even use that term, because they really don't know a lot of the nuances with it. But my point is, they will easily bring up racism and point out racism. But if I tell them to point out this, it's like they don't get it. They can point out racism, white supremacy, where it is and where it's at, because you're just supposed to know that. But when I dumb it down a little bit and go one step later, they do what people try to claim Fantastic can do. They say Fantastic denies racism, or Ramil does too, but you all deny this gynocracy shit. And they can recognize this shit. And I find that interesting that you all can't take a step back and ask why that is. Where all you all want to be dismissive and on some political shit. Because that's really what it comes back to. And it's people not understanding on some political shit on this. And these are actually kind of political feelings and movements and differences of opinion. It is what it is. So let me get to the meat of it. on Mr. Fantastic's I'm not Mr. Fantastic, on Bernard Riley's platform, he was talking about some other things. I came in, I had my opinions, and we got onto this. I brought in the topic of the gynocracy, and then one dude was really just trying to dismiss me. He didn't. Let me be very clear here. He didn't have no answers. He can't disprove shit I'm saying. The only thing he can do is do what white people try to do when they don't want to disprove. They can't disprove racism. Is they try to make you prove your case. That's what he does. So, and even when I gave him a perfect example, this is when, which I mentioned South Fulton County, and I'll actually produce an article, even though it may not be this before. It was an article where the entire government was populated by nothing but women. When South Fulton County was like a new, it was like just formed or incorporated, right? And Bernard came in and said that yeah, that's fine, but that doesn't mean everywhere. And then I said, okay, well, I wasn't asked to show it everywhere. I was asked to show it and give me an example, and I did. And that's kind of like me being asked to prove racism everywhere. So these are so anyway, long story short, because I fuck with Bernard, but long story short, Bernard made it very clear that he understood the chaos element of like what black women do, but he doesn't understand the control piece. It's the control piece that he cannot accept. The control piece that he kept saying he doesn't get. Saying that black women do not control the community. That's what he kept saying. They don't control it. They can do chaos. And then he also made, this is where he fucked up. He also made the comparison of trying to compare the black community and America at large, trying to say, well, really, that's the same thing as America. There's nothing that everything that black women do is really what they choose to do, and every other group could choose to do the same shit in the same way. In the same way, right? They can do the same. So basically, the example he gave is he gave an example, and I wish I could just point you to what he said, but it's not. It's unlisted. I don't know if he's editing it, whatever. Um, and he basically gave an example. I gave an example of the obvious one of calling the police, and he basically stated that, well, yeah, a white woman can call the police on a white man and get a white man in jail. And I was like, so you are really trying to tell me that a white man, a white police officer, and quite frankly, even an officer like Officer Charles is going to approach a black police officer is going to approach a white woman in a white male domestic dispute the same way that they would approach a black woman in a black man domestic dispute, all things being equal. And then he mentioned, well, if he's got a black eye, then he's gonna go to jail. Okay, are you honestly telling me that? So my thing is, he set the bar at a black eye. So you really telling me that a black man's got to give a woman a black eye for him to go to jail? Are you really telling me it's got to go that far? I've seen black men have blood on their face and they go to jail. Like, my point is, you have to dismiss so much shit in order to come to that conclusion. And it's like, no, we understand Me Too and feminism and all of that. But make no mistake, that Me Too shit is only like 2 years, like a year and a half, 2 years old. Let's keep that all the way 100. Let's keep that all the way 100. But we're really gonna, and see, this is the argument that if that white dude Savage would have made on Fantastic shit, black men would have lost their goddamn mind. Black men would have lost their goddamn mind if he would have if that argument would have made that argument. They would have been like, see. That's exactly what they would have did. And so, like, when a white woman has to make completely different a set of calculations when they call the cops on white people, because white people are not treated the same way by the police, even when it comes to them. When they talk about protect the white woman, they're talking about from other races. They are not talking about from other white men. White men, in many ways, now, that's not the same as it used to be at the same rate, but if you compare like a white man, like, it's not the same shit. It's not. It is not at all the same shit when you compare that. This is why white women are not as bold about it as like this is why they don't make it clear they're talking to white men when they go feminist. They try to talk about all men because they leave that room. You talk about the same white women that put Donald Trump in office the first time. I'll be like, come on now. And so my point to this video is if a guy, Bernard is a smart guy. He is an experienced guy. Now the other dude was trying to say some shit. He kept on saying, "You guys, the manosphere, you niggas ain't getting out." So I'm like, "You stupid motherfucker!" And I hope you hear this. I'm like, "You're talking to like two dudes are married." I've emailed a couple of them dudes on the panel, so I know what they do behind the scenes. You know, you see who a Bernard looks like, what Pablo looks like, what a couple of them, the other dude had his face on again. These are not niggas that are incels. I get tired of dudes making that argument. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's some low IQ shit. You know, that's some kiddie table shit when y'all make that argument. Because most of us are doing more than probably what your ass is doing. When people make those arguments, and then the other argument is the dick riding argument, which is a matriarchal term. Shout out to Jesse. It's a matriarchal term. Dick riding is designed to keep other dudes from following other dudes. That is some shit that only bitches benefit from. And my point is, you know, and I'm not somebody, I don't need Bernard. Here's the thing. I don't need Bernard to understand the reason, really. I need Bernard to understand it's a problem. And so in that, me and Bernard agree. And because the solutions to solve it is actually very similar, irregardless of if you believe that it's control or not control. The solutions actually come back to the same shit. So I actually don't really have this thing where it's like, oh shit, I need you to believe me. This is one of those things where you have to recognize, do I need him to believe everything I'm saying exactly the way I say it? No, I don't, because the conclusions will come to the same. He's far enough along where he understands the chaos element is a problem. And he understands that that's a cultural issue. So these are the two things that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to try to see if I can get BGS on. Maybe we can do a shatter point. I emailed him to see if we can go to Bernard. I know it's early, man, because that's like fucking, like, Bernard does his shit. It's like 10 o'clock. That's like 7 o'clock. I mean, shit, ain't nobody trying to get up like that. I know I ain't a morning person. So I don't know if we can do this on Saturday. We probably have to do it like in the afternoon, something where we can make this work. I looked at some of BGS previous videos with Bernard, and it's a lot of dudes that just want to get at BGS, and they be wanting to do it, you know, in a neutral ground. This is not his shit, from what I find. So it is what it is. But my thing is, the reason why I wanted to bring BGS up is because BGS has the books, the receipts, all of that. And he has the book, and not just the books. He has the books from the years they were made back then. Because the argument that was being made was, well, this gynocracy, this is from Truth. This gynocracy is some post-70s shit. That's a lie. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. It's not. And BGS has the books and the material that proves that's not the truth. By the way, BGS is not the only person that understands this. Kevin Samuels understands this. Dennis Sperling understands this. And my problem is, if black men don't know what the problem is, it's impossible to fix something that's a problem. And essentially what black men are doing is, this is like the catalytic converter or a transmission issue, a very critical system, and a system that can easily affect every other system in the car. And the car is constantly driving like a piece of shit, but nobody wants to admit, oh, well, it's the transmission. Because everybody knows if you admit it's the transmission, you're going to have to pay for that. And that shit's going to be a very expensive buy. There is no way to really go cheap with it. You have to pay it. You might as well get another car. So people avoid that, and they just try to jerry-rig the shit to work. Same thing with the catalytic converter. The transmission and catalytic converter are two of the most expensive things to fix in a car if they go out. Generally. Nah, I wouldn't say all that. Bernard Wright's got a good show. And BGS has been on there before. I was just listening to Max City Limits, and he made a video 3 weeks ago about BGS that I saw because I was searching BGS as a search term. And he just, Max City Limits is a hater ass nigga. That's all that is. You know, as soon as I started hearing him say, well, man, y'all just worship that. Nigga, fuck you. Y'all niggas kill me with that shit. That's some jealous ass shit. That's some crab in the barrel 101. Oh, that nigga, most of the books he get from white people. I mean, most of the books he brings to us are black, written by black people, black men and black women. But see, niggas don't, he don't read, so he wouldn't know that. So all he hear was because it's white people. He claimed to be it. Nah, you want him a hotel, want to be shut the fuck up. Like I don't even need to hear that. That's just some hating ass shit. Because if you really got a disagreement, you bring your ass over there. Like motherfuckers kill me with that shit. They like to stay in the safe space of their own fucking channel, and they don't ever want to debate shit because they don't want to look like they fucking stupid. That's really what that shit comes down to. But it is what it is. I ain't trying to start no beef. I'm just saying I get tired of that shit. I really do. Um, But going back, it's like if a guy like Bernard has a hard time getting this is why I tell you a majority of black men is not that they refuse to accept it. And the way he was trying to make it sound like, well, man, it ain't. He was making it sound like a fucking monarchy, where if a black bitch tell you walk in traffic, you gonna do it. I'm like, nigga, by that definition, racism don't exist then. By that definition, racism really don't exist in America then. If that's gonna be like the bar, well, yeah, man, because think about it. Well, yeah, black women, raise the kids and that fuck them up. Well, we all go through the education system, which is the Prussian school system, which socializes us to be white. This is why we know more European cities than African. We know European history than African. That's the same thing as being raised by a kid. So by that definition, as American citizens, technically you can make it more of a class argument and race argument. That's a white person's argument. And that's the thing, that's the main way I can knock out a lot of this, because a lot of these people will readily accept racism. Oh, well, that's just what it is. But with this, it's like they have a hard time. And it's like, dude, how do you think racism is administered? And yes, black men choose to go with the programming, but that's part of the psychological control. An elephant, if you tie an elephant to a chair and he's only known captivity, he's strong enough to break that chair. But even though he chooses to deal with it, it's still control. It's not control in this. It's not like what they call like control in the same way you would think, but it's still control nonetheless. And a lot of black people kind of refuse to accept. It's like they don't want to see. It's like I can't see it. Because if you can't see it, then you can't see the solution, because you can't really see the problem. And this is the two things that I want to come back to, because I want to make this clear. And this is just a preliminary setting the table. Number one, I didn't get the chance to ask Bernard this, but this is what I would have asked him. Number one, do you believe your women believe they own you? Do you believe your black women as a group believe you belong to them and that they control you? It doesn't matter if you believe it's true or not. Do you believe they believe it? That's a question, an answer I'm interested to hear from him. That's number one. And number two, depending on what that answer is, why do you think they believe that? And number two, and the second question I would ask is for him to give me examples of black men influencing the community. You show me where black men you show me anything that black women adhere to for black women. I'll go back to his choice thing. Well, you tell me what black men need to do as a collective group to exert influence in this community. Because if you're saying that black women don't control it, then by definition, black men must have more control. Now, what Truth tried to say is, well, nobody really controls the community. That's bullshit. That is complete bullshit. If we go down line by line in all the areas of activity, because they wanted to keep the bitch subjective. If we go sex, law, we know women control sex. We know women control sex, right? That's what main shit these niggas are talking about. Sex. Do women have more of a control over labor? That can be left up to chance, but they definitely get hired more than what black men do. They're more employed than what black men do, even though we make more money. Religion. Do black women control religion? Do black women control the black church today? Yes. Just because there's black pastors don't mean black pastors ain't talking about shit that black women want talked about. You see what I'm saying? So this is where the games start getting played. So I've got sex, religion, law, Yes, they got control of the law because technically, when it comes to divorce, who's usually an advantage? Well, even though that can be said for women. Okay, we'll just focus on what is unique to black women. As far as the black women having, the cops are always on black men more than any other race. So the reality is, the cops, yes, they got control over law over your ass. Paternity fraud ain't even a crime. Yeah, they got child support is clearly messing up black men in particular. Yeah, they got control over the law. We want war technically wouldn't count in this situation. Education, they definitely educate your sons, and dudes are definitely looking to be educated by females. Um, Money, they definitely get control over the political purse strings. They have all the money that comes through from the black community standpoint. And see, the problem is, and it's crazy because I was looking at when he was talking to BGS the first time to see what happened. Yeah, I got your email, and I appreciate that. I understand, Roastmaster. Yeah, Charles said yes, he would do it the same way. Well, Charles, okay, I'll give you that. That's why I kind of retreated from that a little bit. But my question is, would is that how most cops would do it? Yeah, more black men are going to be empathetic to the situation, but the reality is, we know from the police force as a standpoint. I'm not saying it's like such a big difference that it's like obvious, but you know what I'm talking about. And the thing, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And the thing is, he was really trying to like act like he didn't know what the fuck I was talking about on that point. And I was like, dude, no woman controls in that way of what you're talking about. But it's not about it's about environmental control. They control the environment of the black community. Now you could argue black men go along with it, and that's our dumbass fault. Yes, I will give you that. But the reality is, you can see it in the political shit. Like, we just went through a political process in which you saw that shit in real time. So I'm like, how are you questioning this? Hold on one second. I'm like, how? Anyway, let me. Yeah, I gotta end this, but let me. What's good, Edward? Well, Charles. Well, shout out to Charles. Don Calypso, Jim Rat. Hate to say it, but most black men are too far gone to be say too much mature. Yeah, and it wasn't the. Here's the thing. It's not that Bernard is matriarchally indoctrinated. That's not the issue. The issue is the shit. I don't understand what the fuck you need. Like, my thing is, I don't understand what y'all need to fucking see in order to, y'all need to see niggas like being walked like fucking dogs by black women or some shit. Because as far as I'm concerned, if I gotta prove to you that, then y'all gotta prove to me racism exists at that level. See, the reason black people lean on, so anyway, like, for real. And it was, and this other dude, I definitely would love to talk to his ass for real. Ed, I'm living, yeah. James Smith, a white man might kill a cop. Who you talk about everywhere? Dollar Washer, shout out to Tampa Supreme, BJ's kind of Tampa Supreme, and Dr. Exactly, man. It's like, are you serious? Dr. C and John Johnson is literally, to him and Dr. Tommy Curry are doctors, PhDs in this. Like, if you want to know something, well, why don't you interview them? I mean, Bernard's channel is north of 6,500 thousand subs now. So, so he's getting there. Big Mike from Mexico is not hotel. I think formerly Nation Islam, but not hotel. Well, I mean, the problem is see a lot of that shit is on some hating ass shit. Because if you want to say that about BGS, okay, what you got to say about the Dr. Tia Sean Johnson? This is what we're having the academics is valuable because now you got to talk that shit to people that are accredited, as well. That have said BGS has information that's equal and in some way superior to theirs. Well, at least I.T.I. Johnson said that. Well, Charles, you know what I'm talking about, Charles. Blue pill haze. And that's another thing. I want to hear your opinion on that because that dude was being real emotional. I don't know. What I might do is I might have it on my shit and then have BGS on there and have Charles on there. I might do it for me. Yeah, and my thing is, and see, this is a big problem. I'm gonna say this and I'm done. Like Kevin Samuel said this, and this is a big fucking problem because you gotta do because we keep for decades we keep saying the same shit. You either believe that the black community is the way it is because black men are ultimately not doing what they need to be doing, or you believe that it's not your burden because the women are on some a complete other shit and they really got the purse strings and power in the community. You can't believe both. And dudes just I choose to not answer it. Because the answer is too painful. And I don't know. But I'm definitely doing a stream on this. This is gonna be a kick-ass stream because we're gonna put receipts and I want any of y'all niggas that disagree to pull up and I know you ain't, and I know you ain't gonna have nothing but emotionalism, because that's all y'all got. But anyway, y'all, I just want to say what's up. Appreciate the $5 super chat. I don't know. Well, CJMB, you can MBM, you can pull up too. I think you're relatively new to my content. What I would tell you is go look up BGS Igmore and go into his content. He goes deep into it. But the thing is, most of you niggas can't. I'm sorry. This is the problem. And this is why I'm telling you right now, this is why the community won't be fixed. Because black men, I don't know what it is psychologically, but they just can't. I'm gonna keep this going a little bit more. I'm about to do something real quick. Black men can't accept this. And this is why it doesn't get talked about. Y'all want to know why is it that we always have these circular bullshit arguments that never go nowhere? It's the biggest reason is because black people don't want to have the real conversation. Black people refuse to talk about culture. They stay away from culture. They can't talk about culture. All this YouTube content, how much of it talks about culture? All of these channels, I got this to Taisha and Tahiri, all these couples, all of these dudes, they always cut Hotep, Hebrew Israelite, Nation of Islam. It always comes back to, it never bottoms out to culture. Why? Because when you start going to culture, you start entering into the realm of certain questions that black people just don't want to ask. And black men are afraid of the answers. Kevin, again, you have never gotten to this point. Kevin has probably Kevin has brought the manosphere, set it up, and Kevin has pushed it as far as pretty much it can go so far. He's gone with no man really has gone before, no man, black man, as in really getting to a point where people got to really address these issues. I can show you a Jason Black shit too, but because Jason Black, because what I would tell you, CNB, is go look up. Type in Jason Black and type in gynocracy. And BGS has a video of Jason Black talking about the gynocracy. Professor Black Truth. They know what it is. Black men just personally don't do it. And it's a couple of reasons. Number one, because black women got too much money in these dudes. So they're the ones that's funding a lot of this stuff. So they don't want to piss black women off. And so there's a couple of different layers. A lot of your pro-blacks, what they'll do is they know if this gets out, a lot of black men will just bounce out the community if this gets like accepted. And this is why that was, if you go look at that video, Kevin said like 3 or 4 videos ago, that Kevin Samuels did, it crossed 500 views. It's got 14,000 comments. Go look at those comments. And you saw what Kevin was saying. Go look at that video. Go look at how drained he was. You had a chick from 41 years old, a chick that was in her late 30s, and you had older women too. They were all saying the same shit. We don't belong to you. We don't got to do shit. We are on our own. You don't ever hear, even feminists are not saying that loudly. That should tell you. And see, everything always comes back to, well, the reality of the situation is, it's because they're angry. No, you stupid motherfucker. Listen to what the fuck they are saying. And if you go in the books, BGS is giving you book after book. He's giving you books that were written in the 1800s, books that were written by people in the civil rights movement before, like black history level people. Dr. Francis fucking Cress Brosing has said it. Fucking Shahrazad Ali has said it. Sister Soldier has alluded to it. I don't know what you niggas need is for your mothers to tell you this shit. That's what y'all need. Because y'all really don't really want to accept it. Like this is what I can tell you. And I'm curious to see what CJM's got to say. You really telling me that black women don't believe they own and control black women. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter if you believe. And I see you, Mike V. I want your ass to pull up too. I want all these niggas that got this shit to say. Because the reason why I'm so emphatic about it is because, as far as I'm fucking concerned, anything you all do is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. You all might as well be running in circles like 3 or 4 times just for exercise. Because nothing will change. Because all they have is a panic button that can be called for black women to reset everything that was done. Black Lives Matter is proof of that shit. A lot of the politics of black male death is proof. Because I promise you, that shit would never happen with black women. You would never see black men getting paid off of black females. Like, think about it. You got black women today talking about, well, Kevin, you make money off black women. You owe us this. You making money off dark-skinned women. You can look at Kevin Samuels as a social experiment and see how people are reacting to him at a big level. Some people have known him for a while. Some people just met him. A lot of these people will say, oh, I've been watching you for a while. It'd be 2 months. And you can see the reaction just as a social experiment, as a kind of microcosm to how people will react to a black man. And then compare that to all the other dudes that basically tell motherfuckers what they want to hear. You can see the difference. But people want to say this is not the issue. This is not an issue. It's not really an issue. Not really. Not really. Well, we can work with white people because that's what working in the government is doing. That's what working with Democrats is doing. White people control the Democratic Party. White liberals. But see, we're supposed to ignore all that history of Fabian socialists, of fucking, Planned Parenthood, of fucking the genetic shit, Woodrow Wilson, genetic annihilation, Tuskegee experiments, all that shit was really the liberal side. We supposed to skip all of that because we got something to be done for the government, and the government is still actively doing shit to black people to this day. Same niggas today that can't read. Somehow they go in the same fucking schools that everybody else is going to, but they coming out can't read. Same school, same government that's got the more black men in prison than women on the planet in prison, right? This same government. And yes, less black men are in prison. But even when you look at weed, where marijuana is being legalized, right? Marijuana is being legalized in some places. But you see how black men in those same states still in jail. Some of them are being let out. Some of them are being getting out, but still. So this idea that the government is different now, the shit is the government is always in moving parts in order to keep shit going. And the thing about it is how black people need to act. And I'm one like, look, if we're gonna do this, we got to do it right, and we got to be on the same page. We're not on the same page. Black men and black women might as well two different races. Fuck me, I'm just a nigga. You know, I don't have to stand on it on my own. Dennis understands this. I can show you accomplished black men that understand this. I can show you experienced black men and knowledge. And Dr. T.I. Sean Johnson literally has a doctorate in shit like this. And see, the problem is, it's too inconvenient. You niggas will never go nowhere with the black community is currently constructed if this isn't addressed. Cause this is like a fucking, this is like you niggas keep on wanting to fix the engine to tell me, well, we need to go from a 4-cylinder to a V6 to a V8. Then we need to put a supercharger in that bitch, but your transmission is a piece of shit. Your women are your transmission. It don't matter what the fuck you do or what the fuck you fix. If you don't deal, we can't even have a conversation of us needing to have a rebuilt transmission. Niggas keep telling me the transmission ain't fucked up, but they didn't even look because they don't want to, because they're afraid of how much it'll cost. And they're afraid if they even have the ability to deal with it. When you're, see the difference between the millennials and the other women need to keep their fucking mouth shut. The millennials don't. The millennials are basically putting their dick on the table and telling you they run. And then niggas gotta be, oh, well, individually, I'm not ran. It's not an individual problem, just like how racism is not an individual problem. You have to look at it at the macro level. And quite frankly, you can't really show, like, when I look at things like politics and everything, you can't really show me jack, like, fuck black men. You can't show me shit that's really targeted towards boys like that at a massive level. Not in the same way that other groups it is. And so everything becomes this bullshit. When niggas like, well, I just don't want to accept it. Well, nigga, this is why when people say, why do I support shit like SYSBM? This is why I don't get, I support that shit. Because at the end of the day, ain't like the community's already dead. It's just a bunch of niggas that don't understand that yet. Because if you don't fix this, it's game over. It's literally like the Titanic hitting an iceberg and you could have closed the compartments to keep it afloat. But niggas say, man, it ain't that serious. You don't need to close the fucking compartments. And then by the time this shit is upside, is literally half of the motherfucker is out the ocean, half of the bitch is in the ocean. That's when black people gonna be like, oh shit, maybe we need to do something. That's how we think. That's how we think. Or we do some shit where it's like, oh man, we don't need to really get the lifeboats out. We bullshit. Or we act like we're doing some shit. And people really out here thinking like, why do you care about that? So nigga, I don't have a problem dealing with black women on my own as an individual. I really don't. But I'm like, if we're gonna really have this conversation from a community standpoint, it's either we're gonna have it or we're not. And what I'm starting to find out is most of y'all just wanna feel good about feeling like you doing some shit. And some of y'all may take more actions than others, but the reality is everything you're doing is fucking irrelevant. It doesn't matter. It's a waste of your time. Because at the end of the day, the community has continued to fucking slide. The community is not getting better. Your women are getting hoarier. They're getting more violent. They're getting more rebellious. Your dudes, black men are sliding as far as the majority of us ability. More of us getting homeless. More of us can't read. More of us are not graduating. It ain't like the same amount as going to the military to get their shit together. Nothing's really improving like that. The black community has never really improved since 2011, the hit that we took with a lot of real estate we lost, the wealth we lost there. So what you have is like a small pocket of maybe 20% at best of black people doing all right. And then we're supposed to pretend that's what the community is. And this is why I've always told you, the only way you're really going to have a community is basically to carve out 20% and the rest of it is just going to be genetic material. The rest of it has to be allowed to basically fall. Because honestly, we're really past the idea that you're going to have like 40 million or 30 million black people that's going to be viable. The rest of them, like even Dr. Claude Anderson was talking about, is going to be a permanent underclass. And a big reason why is because black people can't get past certain cultural things. Even shit, like let's take something that's gender neutral. Let's take shit like the black business owner versus the black consumer. Because black women have issues with that and black men have issues with that. Even something culture, like let's start there because that's gender neutral. That's an issue both genders have pretty equally. Even though I would say the women are a little bit better on the money part for different reasons. That's where that gynocracy kicks in, but they still have their issues than the men. We can't even deal with that. Nobody wants to address the culture issues. People just want to skip the politics where they think you can have that shit rewritten, or people like to use education. Culture is more important than education. If you're and I'll prove it. A hood rat that's educated is still a fucking hood rat. And you can see that in the type of niggas most of the time they're fucking. You know why? Because they were socialized a certain way, and that culture is what defines them. Anyway. Hey, well, Elizabeth, I don't know if this is the right video for you. You might want to bounce the fuck out because I keep it 100. And so you just got this in the recommendations. I'm telling you right now, you might as well bounce. You're more than happy to stay, but you might as well bounce because I'm not the one. I may say some shit that may make you want to go jump off a roof. So I'm just letting you know. No, my thing is not, this is not about jumping on Bernard. Bernard is, because first of all, we agree more than what we don't. Bernard was very clear in what we disagree on. He disagreed on the control aspect. And what I need, and there's a reason, there's a difference. I said black women control the community. And so if black men are in the community, by definition, by proxy, they low-key control you. Just like how white people control America. And if you're in America, by a couple of degrees of separation, they control you. It's the similar thing. It's not that difficult to understand. But see, black men want it, like a white man can't just make you do shit. So by definition, I can say racism doesn't really exist. Honestly, a random white man can't make you do shit. They can't. Not written, and y'all know that. So if we're gonna say, well, that's the barometer, that's what I gotta clear in order to prove the gynocracy exists. Well, then, damn, racism don't exist. Fantastic is fucking right. Fantastic and Ramil are absolutely right because that's what they say to y'all, and y'all get so mad when they say that. But that's what you all are saying to me. And what's funny is I can show you plenty of examples of women taking that mask off and telling you straight like that. I'm talking about plenty of Kevin Samuels. I'm talking about way before that. Hell, we got people in the manosphere the women were saying that. Well, then it's just the internet at that point. Well, most motherfuckers that call Kevin ain't from the internet. So now it's just the internet. And the thing is, y'all can't show outside of the Nation of Islam, y'all can't really show me a whole bunch of pocket communities where the women are listening to the men. At best, what you're going to see is some partnership shit going on. That's what you're going to see at best. But you all can't show me anywhere where it's a whole bunch of women looking for direction from black men. You cannot show that shit to me in the United States of America outside of a family here or there. And even then, that's still a choice. That's not because they have to. I mean, motherfuckers have shown you the Monahan scissors situation. They have shown you black women are at least married, but they're quick to go to divorce. We see a clear situation where your women to tell you you got to be a superhero, but for a white man, they could just be that. And it's not just white men; it's other men. And y'all are sitting here, and motherfuckers are sitting here really trying to tell me I'm fucking crazy. I'm just wasting my, and maybe I am just wasting my time. But this is why why do niggas lead the community? Niggas lead the community because at the end of the day, y'all don't even want to recognize what the real fucking problem is. We just talk about every fucking year. I mean, shit, we just went through this political process and you saw how black women basically showed their hand in how they use black women to force black men to fucking do what needs to be done. You saw it in full effect. But niggas want to say, oh, well, these are all isolated incidents. Just like police brutality is nothing but a series of isolated incidents. It's the same shit. The same shit. And then it's like, okay, so you niggas whole card. See, just like this is when I say whole card, when I say, yo, you need your whole card being pulled. And see, here's the game that people will play. Like somebody like Mike V will say, well, ain't no chick ever pulled my whole card. I'm sure she has it, because you don't strike me as a nigga that's gonna put yourself in a position where a bitch would. But you know what I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. Black Huru can empathize. Well, I remember the dude that called in from Philly where he was talking about how he got a black wife and a black daughter, and how they was gonna pull his whole card when look, I'm not about to call his daughter our name, but her daughter wanted to wear the type of clothing a lot of teenagers want to wear when they're coming of age. Let me say that, because that's what it is. And he wanted to, as a father, exert. No, he was protecting his daughter. She basically, her mom said low key, fuck that. Oh, well, because he cheats. That's irrelevant. Because if something happens to his daughter, God forbid, because his daughter doesn't understand the consequences of that shit, then now it already happened. It doesn't matter what he does after the fact. Black Hurus talked about shit like this. Shout out to Black Huru, because I always joke around with motherfuckers with daughters, but he definitely gets it. Motherfuckers know what I'm talking about. Well, I mean, CJM, you can debate me. You know, I'm gonna tell you something, CJ. You want some real, because you can come up late. You got some real time. You can debate BGS on this shit. Fuck, the BGS got 34,000 subs, 37,000. So you want to get some exposure, and he'll debate your ass for free. And BGS CJ is cool. CJ ain't like one of these morons. He's more like Bernard. It ain't a debate. It's a matter of you catching up to where the fuck I'm at. I'm 5-6 years ahead of you. Because understand, I understood this to a certain extent, but I didn't really understand the gynocracy until 2015 when in the Coliseum. So you understand, you were dealing with somebody that has had over like hundreds of hours of 8-hour periods with BGS and others. Like, trust me, I'm not one you want on this. Yeah, what's up, Kalo? Nemo XOXO. So let's go back, and I'm gonna go in through this because I do have to go. And then I'll read some of y'all comments, because yeah, y'all like for real. And then what kills me about this shit is, and then you'll hear some niggas like, yeah, man, because y'all ain't inside of that. Like, this is some basement dwelling bullshit that somebody just cockamamie shit that just somebody's coming up with. And then when I always ask them, okay, disprove what I'm saying, they do what all black people do, is they go on the emotional outrage. They start getting emotionally charged, and it's because just say you. This is one thing Jamaican chick used to tell me. It used to get on my nerves. But first, just say you don't know. Just say you don't know. Just say you don't know. But don't sit there. Oh, well, it's the same thing black women do with Kevin Samuels. Oh, I can't believe da da da. No, that means you don't have an answer. And black men do the same shit. Let's go ahead. Like, think about it. You literally had George Floyd. The last word that came out of that motherfucker's mouth was mama. Mama. That is damn near 50-year-old man. Like, are you serious? Anyway, so let's go down. Make sure you hit me with the cash. It's control. And a lot of control is economic nature too. When you understand, like, why when a lot of these black men don't speak up in many ways, and Kevin talked about it, a lot of this has to do how you're going to be attacked in the workplace, which I'm talking about we make more money, we got more money than them, they're putting more, and part of that is them putting more money up. They have this nature of even that, how they have, it's the same dynamic that you see with a lot of black men and white people. It's the same dynamic. Like, y'all niggas, y'all can see Akmoga and Brandon Tatum, but y'all can't understand how you like Derrick Jackson, somebody else is doing the same shit. I mean, shit, Obsidian talks about this a lot with the dating guru industry. It's the same shit. It's the same dynamic. It's not even sex. Part of it is sexual control, but it's not even. See it now, real time. Goldman Sachs giving billions to their women. Absolutely. To black women, yeah. But see, motherfuckers can't put this together. Check it out. Woo. Don't want to see it. No, they don't want to see it. And that's how I know That's how I know. That's how I really, unfortunately, know the problem's not gonna be solved. Niggas gonna be constantly talking about politics and shit that don't. This shit is not doesn't matter. It's out of proper order. They're gonna be talking about things, and part of me kind of believes that a lot of these people do this because they know it ain't gonna do nothing. So, but somebody can say that they did. It's what it is. Oh, you right. I don't know about a gynocracy. I see more as individuals. When is the stream? I don't know. Because I still got to talk to you, CJ. So I don't know. This might be something I might postpone talking to you on. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm glad you here. But if I can't put it together the way I want to, then I'm definitely gonna go ahead and do what I said I was gonna do. Culture is an evolving thing. It's not static. Culture moves like tectonic plates, dog. Culture evolves, exactly, and evolving takes a long time. So it almost seems like it's static. Like you act like culture did, like no culture in a very like black people have not really changed in America really at all. If you really understand the common denominators of stuff, and see, this is why I reference BGS, because BGS has the books and the books written by black people, including black women, 89, 1800s, all like the greats. They've written on this. Y'all niggas actually highlighted the shit for you all. Like a lot of the points. This is written. Some written by black people, some written by white people. He's got the Monahan Sisters report. All y'all see, the problem is black people don't want to really come to the common denominator because they don't really want to know what the shit is. So Mike V says Cold Wars equals coward struggle. That's what Mike V says. Well, Mike, I'm going to tell you, political wars equals coward struggle as well. That's the same shit. Because when you look at people like, understand something, Mike, you are no different than Jesse Jackson. You are no different than Al Sharpton. You are the same. I'm sure they were just like you when they first got into the business. And then eventually they started being a mouthpiece, talking about same political Republican bullshit. But they don't solve shit, and nor do you. At the end of the day, you may throw a rock in the ocean, but the ocean's still going to be the goddamn ocean at the end of the day. And unfortunately, the problem is black people are never going to fix each other because black people don't want to really look at what the real problem is. Anybody that says, we have been saying the problem has been political since like for 100 years now. And I'm not saying that politics doesn't have their role, but how we go about politics is wrong. And we've been going into politics roughly the same way for that long. And so basically, the only thing Mike has to say is do the same shit. This is what Mike has to say. Vote Democrat. If black people vote 100% Democrat, then your problems are going to be solved. That's basically what Mike is low-key saying. That's basically the argument Mike has. If black people vote Democrat and keep voting Democrat and keep voting Democrat, don't nobody vote Republican. And honestly, Mike, I wish we would do that one day. I wish we would get 100% Democratic vote for 10 years and see what changes. So we can finally kill this fucking argument. I really wish we would. I would be a proponent of black people voting Democrat at a 100% rate, at an 80 to 90% voting rate. Just to disprove the shit that y'all talking about. Because that's always what it is. Black people don't vote enough, or we always got to protect the black vote. And it's this circle. And circle dance we always do. And to say that war is a coward struggle, your women are whores. Like, are you serious? Your boys can't read. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And see, it's funny how you'll say that. You always say that shit. That's why I want to have a thing with the topic. Fuck that. I want to get everybody there. I would like to get... See, this is what I would like to do. And I would pay Dr. Tiasan Johnson to come on. I would like to have a panel with BGS, Dr. Tiasan Johnson, Green Gorilla. So now we can't play the game of where people just don't know and people just not educated. And then get Mike Nagone, a couple of guests, and a couple, and Mike Nagone Bernard, so that's 6, me 7, and maybe and like 2, and leave 2 slots. And somebody like Charles. People, for real. So we can't hide behind people are not educated, people don't have their resources, the bullshit y'all like to add, like, well, I'm the smartest person in the room, so therefore you don't know enough. No, let's really have that debate, because I find that a lot of y'all like to stay out of certain conversations, because quite frankly, if you actually organize the players, you know, the shit ain't gonna fall the way y'all want. I'm not afraid of that, because I'm saying point blank, everything y'all do domestic politically is fucking irrelevant. It's fucking irrelevant, because it's like two people. It's like people trying to say, well, we need to get on the playoffs, but you got everybody on the team looking to get traded. The team's done. You just don't want to admit that yet. You want to be like Coach Thibodeau or some shit. Well, we go play hard anyway. It's like we're not even on the same mission. We don't have the same social contract. And that's something that only black people hit. Politics cannot fix culture. It can't. Like you're really trying to sell me politics with the state of what black boys are in. But you want to sell me politics. Politics is a big reason why they're in that state. I'm going to put it together. I mean, honestly, I don't give a fuck. Like, what, really? Honestly, like, this is kind of like one of those things where it's like, look, man, now that I kind of understand that really it does come back to black men really accepting that, and they just want to pretend it doesn't exist. I don't really give a shit, because now it's like I've concluded, okay, it's just like what Kanye said. You choose it. You choose it every day. So when black men complain about anything, it's like, nigga, deep down you choose that shit. Because if you really had to make a choice, like what they say in the Matrix, subconsciously it's a choice. B, I'm not hyper. The difference between me being, if you notice, I can start and I can stop. That's the difference. See, when you see me talking and then somebody says something, I'm actively listening, and I know how to stop talking and listen. When I say somebody's emotional, they get on this like runaway track shit where they can't, it's like they're in love with what they're saying. I'm not. So I'm always in control over what I'm saying, even though I may go in a little bit. That's the difference. No, CJ. The reason why there's agreement is that you say you need to fix the women. I'm telling you what's wrong with the women, because never fix the women as long as they have access to the first place, is that they have this ability to basically run to the white man on your ass and regulate your ass. Let me say this very simply. Black women are in control of black men because black men have direct access to white men to regulate your ass. So if you become a direct threat to anything they are trying to do, they can regulate that white man on your ass. We see this in the child support courts. We see this in the workplace. We see this in the political arena that everybody wants to conveniently fucking ignore and pretend doesn't exist. So I've just named 3 areas of activity. You see it in the church, which is why black men are not in the church. This is why black men left the church, when the church used to be a bastion for men. You see it in every area of activity. And see, what I find is, what happens is people just tell me I'm wrong or it ain't a big deal, but they never show me any evidence of that. They do this is beneath, which is cold, which proves what I'm saying is correct. That's what this is just beneath me. This is beneath me. This is not an issue. Now you trying to be smart, like Mike. Getting a Tesla. You know what getting a Tesla is, Mike? Dating out. That's what getting a Tesla. You're absolutely right. Dating out. That's what getting a Tesla is. Dating the fuck out. So yeah, you're right. That's called going SYSBM. Which is the only thing that women can't control is your choices, which is what they bitch about the most. What black choose to do from a sexual standpoint. They can't control your sexual choices, and this is why they bitch. You notice that's the main thing they bitch about: sexual politics. Everything they talk about, from being pro-black, pro-ADOS, or everything, always distills back down to. It always distills back down to what that pussy is, what that dick is doing. That's where the dick policing comes in, because they can't control where your dick goes. That's the only thing they can't control. And let's keep it real. You see, they trying to make it so prostitution's legal. They're just decriminalizing it, which means they can still prosecute your ass for buying it. But it's not just the hood. It's not just the hood. And that's another thing. This shit exists in many other aspects of in other classes as well. This is what Jupiter, Dev, my personal opinion is the 20% is decided by values, which is why I talk about people like Love Dorsey, Runway Billionaire, because it's about having common sense and about having values. When I say values, I mean shit. Understanding that we in this together, and there's gonna be something that both sides gonna have to give. This idea that black men are not doing enough is bullshit. My question that I will ask you is, what are black women willing to sacrifice for the community? And they gonna look at you like a motherfucking fool because they believe they own you. And black women have said that. Even if you all don't believe in the gynocracy, that's cool. But I know y'all motherfuckers better not tell me that black women don't believe that you belong to them. Because I can show you plenty of people that don't even talk about this shit like that do believe that. Well, I mean, yeah, I don't think they control the community. But that's all you're saying is they don't think. Why don't you present me something, CJ, as to why you don't think that? You're just making a statement. But you're not really saying anything. I don't think they control the community. I just gave you examples. You all are telling me is y'all don't agree. And it ain't important. And Shaka, I'm not talking about individual control. That's not what I'm talking about. Like I can make like two ways that you see it happen every day is if a black man has to do business with exclusively black people. I get that's a choice. Generally, how does that go? Really tell me, how does that go? I mean, y'all are really trying to pretend like, you see, this requires disbelief, what you all are doing. And what's funny is if somebody like Fantastic was talking about this of racism, all of y'all would jump up emotionally. You all would have all this shit. This is why I dismissed a lot of y'all when y'all was trying to attack him like that. Because I know when I flip it, you all do this shit. All right, nurse. Absolutely. Absolutely. And am I saying every black woman is psychologically? I hope you don't give a fuck about black men. You know that deep down you don't. I can show you how do you like? I can show you how the gynocracy attacks black women. There's an episode on the Lapeef show with Courtney. They were talking about checking black women and women should check black women, and Kevin Samuels said that. And Courtney went out of her way. She showed how she gets bullied by black women. Black women get attacked by other black women to stay in fucking line. So I can show you that. Like, are you serious? Hell, why do you think Rebecca Lynn posted a statement and she retracted it the way she does? So this control just doesn't control deal with black men, it has a, like, you can see the kinetics, but y'all choose not to see that. But y'all want to see all this white man shit. Like, see the racist. Oh, yeah, easily. Some of y'all ain't even really experienced racism like that, but y'all can buy into it. But this shit, oh, y'all gotta get. It's like y'all what that. So individually, y'all like, well, that ain't me, but that's not the point. You know, Bill Cosby act like white supremacy wasn't a thing either until they decided to go get his ass. Well, I mean, CJ, our position, we have hours and hours and hours of videos on our position. Go type in. You want to get educated on this, CJ, seriously. Go type in on YouTube, BGS, Igmore, and Gynpceracy. And if else, go look up Dr. Tiasan Johnson. I mean, this is not our position. This is the position. Mike, that's, yeah, whatever, Mike. I'm not gonna lie, it does look like that though. Kaya, no, he wasn't yelling for Becky. Shut up. He said mama. Mama is his mother. See, this is the goofy shit. Shaka, I don't give a damn about how you move. That's like you saying, well, shit, the black community ain't in poverty. I'm a millionaire. Good fucking for you. I get that. That's the best example I can make. Well, shit, I make like $50,000 a month. I ain't impoverished, so I don't know what you niggas talking about black poverty for. That's how I got that other dude said, man, you see, he tried to say, there's pockets of people that say there's not the Gynpceracy. Okay, same thing with there's pockets of black people. There's counties of black people that's got money. King George County. Oh, that don't matter. As soon as I flipped the script, he fell right for it. Well, that don't count now. It's gotta be a Democrat's team. Whatever, be. Yeah, I saw that. I mean, Shaka, of course you don't believe it. I mean, most black men don't believe it. Most men can't psychologically accept it. But I'm going to start telling you, but seriously, what I'm going to start telling y'all is, if that's true, then racism ain't real. If this ain't real, then racism ain't real. But because I want y'all to prove to me racism. And everything y'all got to say, I could have the same thing for that, just like. And you know what I'm saying? This is what you did automatically. You said, I don't believe it. I. See, matriarchy, patriarchy, that shit is not individual like that. That shit, we're talking about the community. We're talking, and so it's one thing if you could say 20% here, 30% there, 10% here. I said the community. You brought it to you. You did the same shit black women do, and like, well, I say 73% single mom, no kids. That's exactly what you did, and that's a tell right there. So no, you believe it. Just because you don't believe it doesn't mean it's not correct. A lot of people didn't believe the world was round. That don't mean shit. But how else do you fucking explain why our community is critically different than every other fucking community in the United States of America? You explain that shit. And I'm not saying every community don't have matriarchal elements, but you explain why the black community is backwards. And don't say the same tired shit like slavery and all that, because all this shit originated in slavery. The Gynpceracy originated in slavery. If you really know the truth about slavery, black women did not work like black men did in slavery. Black women were some of the first millionaires because they were able to inherit shit, some of them, from white men who come to white children. They had a different role here. But see, a lot of y'all don't understand that because a lot of y'all shit is different. Say, oh, I don't believe democracy argument. It's because the only thing y'all niggas got is a whole bunch of bluster and busto. You literally had Taz tell me that the gynocracy is real. Ain't no gynocracy in my house. With the type of situation that motherfucker is in with Nyla, he literally said that shit. That's the type of, or and the shit he said he was talking about with sin. These would be the same ones that'll tell you the white man got his foot on my neck while that nigga's on his knees, basically judge sent that nigga in court. And there's a lot of dudes that went out of their way to agree with that. It's not that they love lies. I challenge. I actually do understand it. They may talk shit, but it ain't so much I think, okay, well, niggas got low IQ. No, I understand exactly why this shit is hard. This is why this has to be focused on so much. No, I don't either. I'm not saying racism doesn't exist, but I'm also telling you the shit goes deeper than just racism. That shit goes deeper. Niggas can't read a grade level in school at such a high rate, not because of racism. It's deeper than that. And dudes want to just sit here and leave it at racism and pull yourself up by your bootstraps. It's way deeper than that. Chris Tucker, I'm not an extremist. I'm not an extremist. And first of all, this is not an extremist argument. This is not an extreme. It's not. There's a difference between being extremist and then you can't just accept what's being said. Evidence is laid out for you all, and then you all say fuck the evidence. Like there's a lot of black people that say unity fraud illegal. That's an extremist situation. Like, come on, man. We live in a country where more black men are locked up than women on the, and that's extreme. Come on, like y'all see that's emotional right there. See again, that's some shit that gets said when the shit can't be debunked. Well, honestly, I don't think there is a black community. There is no black community, Shaka. Oh, okay, Chris. Okay. Really want this is why people be like, well, why SY? This is why when I want y'all to understand why I get annoyed by this. Because when I hear dudes come up with solutions like, well, you just need to go all in on the community, you just need to be with black women, you just need to love black women, edify black women, they're angry because of what black men are not doing. That shit is either true or that shit is either bullshit. And the problem is you have black men that they actually, this is why I keep telling y'all about black male guilt. You got black men that they actually believe that all this anger and bullshit that black women go through is your fucking fault. They believe that shit. They kinetically believe that shit. Like deep down, they believe that shit. And dudes will literally go their entire lives chasing sexual gratification from black women. Think about it. You got niggas that they actually think they deserve some cookies and some kudo points because, yeah, man, I only fuck black women. You know? I'm a real black man. I only put my dick in black pussy. You'll have niggas that got mixed bitches. Well, they black too. That's a black woman. Then call other women mutts. You literally got motherfuckers they'll be with the mixed chick and then call another bitch a mutt. This is the retarded shit. So I mean, at the end, man, it's like this. I got my life, just like y'all. I can hang this bitch up and be like, all right, well, I understand. These niggas like this shit. Generally don't refer to black men as cucks. But black men are such some of the biggest cucks, like real talk. Like what Obsidian said, mama, mama. Like for real. And y'all niggas really be thinking y'all doing something. And like it is what it is. Yeah, we're gonna have this debate. I still owe CJ in the interview. So anyway. No, it's not gonna change because what y'all expect is y'all expect black women to kind of tell y'all the truth. And they're not gonna do that. Black women are not gonna do that because they benefit from you all believing we're on the same. That's how they get resources from you all. But every once in a while, they tell you the truth. When you make them mad, they tell you how they feel. And this is why a lot of times they don't like to have these conversations because if you press them enough, like Kevin did, like think about it. That therapist, he asked her, do they belong black men? She could not bring herself to say no. Say yes. But she quickly said every other race when he went down the line. And that's not the smoking gun. Hell, BGS has a video that quotes Jason. I mean, but if you don't want to believe it, you're not gonna believe it. So I mean, but just know that's why the community's never gonna change. All these motherfuckers that talk about politics, talk about improvement, talk about getting people, they're full of shit. They may be doing some shit in their city a little bit, but even then, they're not doing shit. Shit's gonna stay the same. Even at the city level. You ain't gonna see none of these cities really improve like that because of black people, even at the city level, because at the end of the day, this core shit is in place. And they want to sit here and pretend it's not an issue. And I'm the type of person, I'm not the type of person that's gonna be like, oh, I just don't do that. Exactly, Jupiter. You're absolutely correct on that. Dude, men alone can't change laws. Black men are 6% of the motherfucking population. So that's a cover. That's a cover. That's a cover. And by the way, Asians don't change laws. Asians put money involved in the shit. So that's a cover. That is true, shame bitches. That didn't even surprise me that she did that. What surprised me more is that she fell for it. But that you've been hearing that the whole time. There's no other like that. Y'all like motherfuckers will out their mouth say the black community is backwards, but then never really examine why that is. Anyway, y'all, I appreciate it. I gotta hop off. I just wanted to let y'all know what was up. This is Edward signing off. Peace. Yeah, Jupiter, but why do they have a family unit and we don't? At black people were married at the most married before civil rights. It's because when the women were given an opportunity to integrate, they ran from black men. Why? Because they hate being under you. And it has nothing to do with what you did or did not do. They want to run your ass. But they know if they tell you they run your ass, then you not going to give them resources. And they know they don't have nowhere else to go. That's where it starts. That's where it ends. I mean, this is not extremism. This is just common fucking sense if you just walk it through. But niggas will say shit like that and never ask, why is this the way this is? They'll just be like, well, it just is. Like making a statement on its own. Like making it, you got to follow it all the way through, man. That's all I'm saying.